Well, the Blues did break their pattern. Unfortunately, though, that means that they entered a losing streak, and this weekend's games are frankly just extremely disappointing. I will be talking about all of this coming up here on Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you about all things St. Louis Blues. I have to tell you, this was kind of an upsetting episode to go into today because I really thought that the Blues would be able to pull it together just a little bit more than they have been. And quite frankly, they have not been doing enough. They have not been playing well enough. And I'm going to dive into today the Blues' bad weekend. I am done with the defense. And how can the Blues move forward, especially taking on the Red Wings coming up? So there is a lot to talk about with the St. Louis Blues team, especially, you lost 3 games in a row. That is not a good thing whatsoever, but we're going to talk about it here. And today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL to get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. I am live today, so that means that you can leave me a comment in the comment section here on YouTube, and I will be able to see what you say. So for anybody that's listening after this is already posted, make sure to subscribe on YouTube at Locked On Blues so you can get some live content. So obviously, let's go recap this weekend and why I am so distraught. The Blues had a 6-3 loss to the Vegas Golden Knights, which obviously is not a good thing. And I said, you know what? They can bounce back when they play when they play the Columbus Blue Jackets, because the Blue Jackets are not a good team. I mean, they're not like the worst team in the league, but they're pretty bad. And by pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie, like they're really bad. They're actually last in the Metro. So, yeah, that was me being nice. But, hey, I mean, the Blues made them look good because the Blue Jackets won 5-2. And then, obviously, you had the loss against Chicago, the 3-1 loss. And the problem with that one was this. Chicago had such great puck control the entirety of the game. And it's because the Blues – frankly, just looks slow and out of place. And this is what's concerning. You are playing teams, and I always want to be very open about this. Even if a team isn't good, they can still beat you in any given day. The Blues got outplayed, especially by those two teams, that being the Columbus Blue Jackets and then, of course, the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't necessarily think the Vegas game, the Vegas game, I know I talked about this, but that first 20 minutes was all St. Louis when they were going into the second with their 3-1 lead and Jordan Kyrou with that beauty of a goal. I'm still so upset that they lost that game, but they had opportunities this weekend to at least win a game or get some kind of points, and they didn't. Now that the Blues are on a 3-game losing streak, my concern continues to grow. I thought, maybe the defense is actually pulling itself together. Maybe the offense is finally on fire. And quite frankly, just you and I talking right now, I never felt so distraught about this team. It's not the fact that they have lost 3 games in a row. It's who they lost games to. Let's not count the Golden Knights. Okay, let's go take them out because they are, again, the defending Cup champs. Let's just talk about the 2 games with the Blue Jackets and the Blackhawks. That is concerning. That is concerning that they lost like that. I mean, I could understand maybe it being a closer game going into OT. Like, I'm a very understandable person, especially when it comes to my Blues and my expectations of these teams. But especially with the Columbus Blue Jackets, this was what was most upsetting. Adam Fantilli, he was one of the draft picks from this previous draft, and he scored. I mean, there was nothing about it that was like upsetting. It was just more of a factual statement that he scored because he was a high draft pick. And the Blues, I mean, I love Dvorsky and I'm excited for him, but he's not ready to come over yet. So I'm a little frustrated with like what we don't have. It's fine. But anywho, in the first period, the Blue Jackets led 2-1. Robert Thomas did get a goal, and Buchnevich, he did assist, but still, I mean, unacceptable. Second period, nothing. Third period, Columbus was able to get 3 goals compared to Robert Thomas's goal in the third. So RT's been scoring, and that's the thing about Robert Thomas. He is at least having a good season. But I don't like saying that. Like, I'm not like an individual only kind of person. No, I am such a team player. So it is frustrating. As Rob says on the YouTube chat, very bad effort. That is for sure. Diving into the Chicago Blackhawks game, one thing that was my like biggest observation was the first 2 goals. I understand it was a little bit of a tough move for Binnington. Binner was a net. But in the second period, Jason Dickinson for the Blackhawks, he was able to get his goal because he was standing by the post and was able to rebound it in. And you know why that is frustrating, St. Louis? It is frustrating because it's all about positioning. It's hard to explain with words and not just show you with my hands. I'm a very animated person like that. But he was right up by the post. And instead of the Blues being able to have any coverage on him, they didn't. They left him wide open. So evidently the puck went in the net. And that is what is frustrating about this game. Not the fact that they lost, but the goals that they scored. They just had no defensive coverage on these players, which made it easy. Now, I do have to say in the third period, Oscar Sundqvist was able to get a shorthanded goal, giving the Blues at least 1 goal. The Blues now have 7 shorthanded goals in the NHL. I think that might be one of the highest or tied for the highest. But as I said, they're better shorthanded than they are in the power play. So again, I don't know if you can't obviously decline going on a power play, but I don't know why that is. It's a little frustrating. I am frustrated. There's no doubt about it. I absolutely hate what the Blues are going through right now because it does concern me. They now dropped to 6th in the Central Division. They have 27 points. In the Central, Winnipeg, actually, the Jets, they have 34 points. So it's not the toughest divisions, right? I talked about other divisions. Let's go see. Because I want to put it into perspective. In the Eastern Metro and Atlantic, the Bruins have 39 points. Rangers have 39 points. And then in the West, Winnipeg has 34 points, and then the Knights have 43 points. So, yes, the Central is, I guess you can so to say, the least competitive with points so far, if that makes sense. So it's not like the Blues are completely out of talk, but I don't know. Like I've always said, I could see them making it in, like as a wild card team, but it just really depends on the amount of effort that this team puts in. And I don't want to say it's an effort problem because I know after the game, Braden Shen will say, we tried our best, but it wasn't there. But I feel like I'm just hearing the same old thing. And I want to believe in this team. I want to believe in these players. I desperately want this team to be a wild card team. I think that would actually be very successful. But it's hard. It is hard when this is happening. It is hard when you're frustrated. It just doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. And you know what else doesn't make any sense to me? Again and again and again and again and again. How come Robert Thomas seems to be one of the few players that steps up for everything? I mean, Point leader, 27, goals, 10, assists, 17, plus minus 7. But hey, Braden Chen has 20 penalty minutes and he leads the team in that. So, yeah. As I said, it's Robert Thomas season, and now you see why. But the frustration is there, and I think that it's very clear that the frustration that I share, the frustration that I have, it all stems from a place of love because I do want to see this team be successful. I'm going to talk about why I am done with the defense, though, speaking of being done. But first, I want to tell you about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts that you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only, available to U.S. customers. So I have a couple comments. Let's go see. Again, this is a live video. So hello, Russ. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Rob says, have you noticed that for some reason we never clear the guy out in front of the net, but other teams knock the guy out in front of the net? Yes. This is the problem. It is the Blues defense. Rob, I love that you brought this up. I love that you were able to basically read what I had going on for today's episode and make that observation, because this is the thing with the Blues defense and why I am done with it. It is because of Dickinson's goal. This was the Chicago game, for those that don't know. I know I touched on this earlier in the episode, and Russ, I will get back to you about Bertuzzo's trade. That's going to kind of come up in my little last rant that we have going on here. But basically, why I'm done with the Blues defense. You have a guy posted up by the net, Dickinson, and you're telling me that nobody wanted to cover him, that nobody saw him and said, hey, this could be a really bad idea, because Benner, the way that he was positioned, he was on the other side of the post. So there was empty space. It was such an easy play for the Blackhawks, because if anybody with eyes saw that, you would know, oh, I'm going to pass it, and he's going to deflect it in, and boom, goal. I think the defense has really made it difficult for Binnington this season. And this has happened before last season. And this is the thing. Benner is not a bad goalie. He had some great glove saves in this past game. Unfortunately, the first period happened where 2 goals did go in. But I do think that Binnington is smart. He has a good hockey IQ, and he's been a lot more focused this season. I've noticed that with him in net. He's not as wide with his motions. He's more tight, so the puck doesn't kind of get through, especially when it comes to his legs. But I can't believe what I'm watching. Sometimes I feel like I'm in disbelief because this defense doesn't show up. And I don't know how many times I can go on this podcast and say something like, hey, where's the defense? It's not there. Even Nick Leddy, this past game, he just looked off. Torrey Krug is non-existent. Marco Scandella doesn't do anything. Perunovic doesn't do anything. Nobody does anything. Perico, I mean, he does stuff. I will give him that. And Falk does stuff, but I am frustrated. I am so frustrated with this team. I am frustrated with this defense. I don't know why there is no real changes being done. I mean, I know why. It's because of all the no trade clauses, but I'm frustrated. And for those that don't know, Robert Bertuzzo. Oh my god, I was like, why did I almost mess that up? Um, he got traded to the Islanders in exchange for this coming drafts, 2024 NHL entry draft, 7th round pick. I'm sorry. That's it. I mean, I'm not saying like, okay, like anytime you get a draft pick, that's good. And I know that Bertuzzo is a little bit older. I mean, he's been in the league for quite a while, young 30s. I get it. But 7th round, I'm like, are you kidding me? You couldn't even negotiate for a 6th round draft pick. I mean, at this point, I think I understand what Doug Armstrong is doing. I think maybe, just maybe, he's trying to clear up some cap space for maybe something bigger that's going to happen. Now, listen, I wasn't expecting any moves to be made now. It is December, and I was like, okay, December 9th, a little early for some trade action, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, think about all that he's been with this team. Bertuzzo, one of the 16th players in Blues history that has played more than 10 seasons with St. Louis. The Blues acquired him from the Penguins, which is crazy to think about. That's where he got drafted, and it sucked. It sucks seeing him go. I mean, he wasn't obviously getting a lot of playing time here recently, but I always have a lot of respect for him, and I think having a player who's been on your organization, your team for so long, you kind of like grow a little bit like fond of them a little bit more. It's more of like an attachment. And it's very rare in the NHL to see players that are not necessarily captains stay on the team for that long of a time. So I wish him luck. I just don't think that a 7th round draft pick was worth it. Yes, and they didn't let him play. And that's the problem with this team is it's the disrespect. There are such I don't know, I'm trying not to be mean. I just feel like it's a little disrespectful how they treated him. And you can insinuate how I feel, but I hate that he's gone. When I heard the news, I was sitting with my family and I got my notification and I'm like, I need to go in my room. I went in my room, I took out my phone, I made like a little bit of an update video. I'm like, guys, you know, a 7th round draft pick. I like what? That's it. That's it. I have beef with the Islanders now, for real. No, you know what? It's Army. Like, what is he doing? Seriously, what is he doing? Like, I'm laughing because I'm like, this is so stupid. A 7th round pick. It's not the 7th overall. Nope, it's the 7th round pick. I mean, I'm not saying that he would have been worth a 7th round over. I mean, 7th overall. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. That's all you can do. They need better negotiation skills. I would have been able to get at least a 5th round, but it's not up to me. Before I dive into the Blues moving forward, I want to let you know a new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Robert Thomas could score 50 goals, and the St. Louis Blues could hoist the Stanley Cup, and you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our #1 choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey. Because of Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. And this is what I love about Sleeper. Jordan Binnington, Justin Falk, Robert Thomas, Joel Hofer. If they record more or less in their Sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and more in a given game, you could win big. So to win 100 times bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Blues fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail in your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code Locked On NHL and you will get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code Locked On NHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. Okay. How can the Blues move forward? Well, Hugh McKing is called up. Okay, no, for real. No, but that did happen. He got called up from the Thunderbirds. So congratulations, Hugh McKing. And cool, but that's obviously not going to be the solution. What can the Blues do moving forward? Learn how to position yourself on the ice. Work on the power play. Work on the penalty kill. I mean, they got a goal, so I guess like they're leading in shorthanded goals. But the point that I'm trying to make is moving forward, I don't want to see any of this lazy nonsense hockey on the ice. I'm going to bring up the Blackhawks game, despite it being the most recent game. This was the game where it really proved to me what the actual problem was. Now, the Blue Jackets, okay, maybe they're giving benefit of the doubt here, making excuses for them. Maybe they're tired, traveling, whatever. That was an excuse I just made for them. Well, it was still awful. Besides Robert Thomas, awful. I don't know the solution. I don't know how to fix this team. Their power play sucks. Their positioning sucks. Their confidence on the ice is so bad that other teams can pick up on that and they get more confident off of the Blues' lack of confidence. This team has no identity. This team has no real passion. I thought, hey, maybe if they get a captain after O'Reilly, got dealt at last year's trade deadline, hey, maybe they will be able to get some more identity. Maybe they'd be able to just be a more well-rounded team, leadership. Nope. This season, just as a reality check that, hey, this team isn't going to be sustaining itself with the players that they have. Hofer was not ready to come up to the NHL. I think he should have had another season with Thunderbirds. Binnington, having a good season, has awful defense in front of him. The defense sucks. Torrey Krug, can't stand. Nick Leddy, nothing. Parayko, nothing. Folk, something. Tyler Tucker, when he plays, okay. I am frustrated. Why is Robert Thomas the only player that I always see putting in maximum energy? Why am I only seeing that? Why am I seeing this team look like they don't want to be on the ice? Why do I feel bad for Coach Berube, our chief? Because he is at least coaching and trying, but the players are not receptive. And this was my fear. Are the players not listening to him? Do they not respect him? I am so sick of what I'm seeing on the ice, and I do not want to wait until March for that trade deadline, March 8th. Make some moves. Free up some space. Because at this point, this is an awful product you're putting on the ice. This is awful effort. I don't live in the city of St. Louis. And where I live, there is a time zone difference. But do I stay up to watch every single game because I love this team and I have been for my whole life? Yes. Will I continue to do it? Yes. Did I literally buy a hotel and plane ticket to go to the NHL draft to cover the Blues? Yes. Because this is one of their most important drafts coming up. I'm telling you, they need to either get it together or try to get those lower draft picks or higher draft picks. But like low isn't not doing good this season. I don't think words can articulate how much I love the Blues and how disappointing this has been. You beat teams like the Avalanche, like the Lightning, like the Golden Knights. but yet you lose to the Blue Jackets, Chicago, the Sharks, the Predators. And when you lose to teams in your division, it's not good. You're right now 2-2 with the Yotes. It's very frustrating. I think I can speak for all of St. Louis when I say this right now. The power play is the biggest problem. I'm frustrated. I am so incredibly frustrated. So if you were frustrated and you're one of my everydayers, let me know in the comment below on this video when it is posted. Let me know on Twitter at Locked On Blues. Also, I'm like yelling, but also, I'm trying to not yell. Thank you so much for 800 subscribers. That means a lot. When I hit 1,000, we will be doing a giveaway on this channel. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and lock it in to Locked On Blues, a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, today's episode was a good one because I was able to let out my emotions, my feelings. But now it is your turn. So in the comments below, as I said, let me know how you're feeling. Tomorrow will be a game preview episode, and hopefully I won't be as angry. I probably will be, but hey, that's what happens when your team has been letting you down. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And as always, let's go Blues.